I am from a conglomeration of a multitude of different cultures, identities, dreams, and places. From the nexus where these different places and perspectives met by mistake or on purpose to create the entity of me. I am from working class values. From, boy, you better cut that water off before you turn up my light bill. And don't be too proud to get your hands dirty now. From ramen noodle nights, food stamps, and hand-me-down clothes. From having a paraplegic mother and intimately understanding how Social Security and Medicare worked before I even had a job. From being the recipient of canned food drives and charity donations, and at the same time participating in them to give to others. From the shame and embarrassment of always having to hustle for a ride or take the bus just to do the even most basic after-school activities. But also from the ingenuity to create much out of little. Joy out of sorrow, community out of adversity, and support out of segregation. I am from Christian values. From we know all things that work together for the good of those who love the Lord. And we've been made for a night, but joy cometh in the morning light. From usher board, Bible study, youth groups, and choir rehearsals to Sunday school, nativity plays, Black History Month programs, and that banging red velvet cake every first Sunday at the women's work bake sales. From a community history and roots that provided me with support, faith, and love, to the hypocrisy of church folk, and a doctrine that made me question much too often, what would Jesus do? I am from African American strength. From, boy, what you doing with all those gnats in your head? And, Grandma, you know you put your foot in those greens. From a people that seem to cause me as much despair and frustration as they make me feel loved and validated. From a tradition of music that I cherish and the cooking of food I can't live without. From a culture that seems to be such a restricting box in which only a few representational images and dreams are afforded to you. But at the same time, somehow, in reality, it being the identity from which I pull most of my pride, liberation, and strength. From civil rights to slavery. From artists to abolitionists, from entertainers to entrepreneurs, from scholars to school teachers, I am from a legacy of not only hardship, but triumph. I am also from a private school education. From, he's such a smart boy, and you can do anything you want to, baby. From the multiple scholarships, awards, and distinctions, and little to no real understanding of what I actually knew or why I was even learning it. From making the grade with putting forth the least amount of effort possible, to getting accolades and awards just so that I could hear, "I'm so proud of you," roll off with just one more tongue. From the safety that books, education, and schooling provided me, and at the same time, the distance that it placed between me and my friends and family. And okay, some of y'all might have had some suspicions by now. I'm from some very queer beginnings, just saying. From, hey girl, hey, and that dress is fierce, to, okay, I'll braid your hair tomorrow. And I'm gonna ask you to change that top. From gossiping with my girlfriends and talking about who's going out with who wore what, and who don't like who now, as a way to take the pressure off of my own insecurities about who I was as a damn faggot. From the tacit understandings and the active denials, to the apprehensive tolerance and the dashed hopes that I would grow up to, man up, nigga. From being pushed to distance myself from anything that had to do with black masculinity, but at the same time knowing I'm somehow connected to it, right? I am from a conglomeration of a multitude of different times, places, cultures, identities, and dreams. And though at some times they seem to clash and pull me in new directions I didn't even know I wanted to go, owning and exploring them all has been the only way that I have found who I am and where I am really from.